important to state very clearly that there have been a lot of negative information concerning the 603 billion worth of gold that has been found here. But how is the money going to be shared? It is important we first address this issue before we come to any other projects. Now, we have a very clear mining law that is anchored in the Mining Act, and it aims at ensuring that mineral wealth is meaningfully able to support national development, county priorities, and local communities. This is very, very important. There are two complementary mechanisms to achieve this. The first one is royalty sharing, and the second one is community development agreements. When you talk about the royalty sharing framework, royalties are statutory payments made by mining companies based on the value of minerals produced or sold. These revenues are shared across levels of government and the local community as follows. Number one, 70% national government, 20% host county government, and 10% local community. So the people of Bushiangala need not to worry. The purpose is to ensure that we strengthen national fiscal capacity, support county development in mining, and to ensure direct benefits come to communities through public financing channels. And that goal will be processed here in this facility. That goal is going to benefit the local communities, and it will also help us to improve on our gold reserves, because when you talk about reserves at the central bank, they're actually based on gold. So it's going to really increase our revenue base, our currency strength, which is currently at 129 to the dollar, but also ensure that there are roads, schools, hospitals that are built in this beautiful area of Ikolomani, which is really a local name for gold mine. It's basically gold mine, the other way around. The community's 10% share is managed through the government systems. Under public finance laws, it is not directly given by the community, by the company. The company is not going to dish the 10%. It is done through the various government structures. 70% national government, 20% the county government of Kakamega, for example, and then 10% for community. But also there's another 1% share that I'm going to speak about now. It's called Community Development Agreement, CDA, which is 1% of all the gross earnings of the company. In addition to royalties, large-scale mining companies like the one that will be based here must negotiate and sign a community development agreement with host communities. The core requirements for this is that the company must invest an estimated minimum 1% of annual gross mineral sales. Please let me be clear here. The company must invest a minimum of 1% of annual gross mineral sales revenue into agreed community development projects. So it is a community here that is going to identify the projects. It's a committee of 14 members that will sit down and agree with the company. We want a borehole here, we want a road here, we want a school there, we want a health facility, so that they benefit from the resources. And in the whole issue of compensation, there is already a team that is being put in place as we speak. I've just spoken to the PS for mining, PS Harry Kimtai. So people need not to worry. The government is on top of this, and nobody shall be dispossessed. Nobody shall lose their property. They shall be adequately compensated as per what shall be agreed upon by the team that the Ministry of Mining, under the State Department for Mining, is doing. And as I said, I've just spoken to the PS, Harry Kimtai. So the typical projects that are for the local community include roads, water, supply, electricity, that is infrastructure, local, social amenities, schools, health facilities, livelihoods and skills programs. That is very powerful because it could be as well empowering people in terms of their community projects, livelihood and skills programs, trainings like the way we are doing NYOTA at the national level, and then environmental and community welfare initiatives, especially because we also want to make sure that when the place is left, it's not left in dereliction. There must be some conservation, just like you have Halapak in Mombasa there after the lime mining has been done. So the CDA funds, these are not taxes or royalties. It's direct benefits to the people. They are direct contractual commitments between the company and the community, jointly planned and monitored with government oversight. Let me explain that. That they agree with a committee of 14, but it is planned jointly and monitored by the government. Very important, so that then the people can benefit. These are lessons that we've learned from other jurisdictions to ensure that people do benefit from the extractive industries and so that we can power development. It has been before where you have people being in a region and then, of course, all the benefit goes to the company. No, that is very well anchored in law. The distinction between the two mechanisms is that it is essential to communicate clearly that royalties are public revenue shared according to law. Royalties, let me repeat that. Royalties are public revenues shared according to law. The CDA 1% gross is a private sector community investment obligation for the company. They serve different but complementary roles. Royalties strengthen public development financing, while CDAs deliver visible, direct, negotiable community projects. There is no duplication, but rather a deliberate two-track approach to ensure communities feel the impact of the mining activity. So as the national revenue, in terms of royalties, is building the whole of the country and the government, as the 20% goes to county government, say of Kakamega, the 10% to the community, then the 1% is a guarantee. But these are monies that will directly benefit the people on the ground based on their priorities. And like the way people sit in CDF and say, these are the projects we want to do in this constituency. So it's very people-driven between the 14-member committee and the company, but also supervised by the government. So this is important because it ensures community trust and the social license to operate. It reduces tension and conflicts around mining operators and promotes predictable and transparent benefits for host communities. It also will help Kenya to strengthen its international reputation as a responsible, community-focused mining jurisdiction. We have had people, rioting and all of those in other places. That is not something that is going to happen here because we have a robust law. And this also, regime will ensure the balance between investor confidence and equitable community development. So Kenya has a very clear mining policy that will ensure mineral wealth benefits everyone, the nation, counties, and local communities. Very, very important. The 70-20-10 1% royalty, the 70-20-10 royalty formula ensures equitable public revenue distribution, national, county, community. The 1% CDA requirement guarantees direct community-driven development projects. Together, these instruments form a fair, transparent, and development-oriented mining benefit sharing model.